Let's go ahead and solve homework exercise question 13 from section 3.3. Okay, again, we've got our whole statement here, not Q and P or P and Q. Notice what we're going to do inside the parentheses first. We're going to do this one, the not Q, so that's why that's in column 3. Then we're going to do inside this parentheses, which is not Q and P, which would be column 4. Then we're going to go over to this parentheses, right? Do P and Q, which will be column 5, and then finally we'll take the whole statement with column 4 and column 5, the two statements, and connect them with an OR statement, right? And that will give us our final answer in column 5 for each of the rows. Okay, so again, Q starts out with true, so not Q is going to be false, right? The opposite of true is false. And then not Q we just said is false, and P, which is true, a false and true is a false statement, right? The only time an AND statement is true is when both are true. And then P and Q, this is actually true and true, right? Both P and Q are true, so this is a true statement. And now our final answer is the statement not Q or P, which is in column 4, which is a false, or, right, P and Q, which is in column 5, is a true. A false or true is a true, right? The only time a disjunction or an OR statement is false is when both are false. So then this is a true. So again, doing one step at a time according to the order of operations, we did it and we got false, false, true, true. Okay? Let's go ahead and put those values in to make sure we're correct. All right, we go down to the second row. Now we start out with P is true and Q is false. So the negation of Q, negation of false is actually going to make it true. So now negation of Q is true and P is true. True and true is a true statement for column 4. Column 5, true and false, right? P is true, Q is false. True and false is a false statement, because the only time an AND is true is when both are true. And now what? This statement's in column 4, which is a true, or this statement's in column 5, which we said is a false, right? True or false is actually true, because for a disjunction, if one of them or both of them are true, then the entire disjunction is true. Okay? So again, following the order of operations, we go through one row at one column at a time and get our answers of true, true, false, true. All right, row number 3, we start out with P is false and Q is true. So the negation of Q, negation of this true is going to be a false. Not Q, we just said is false, and P, which is false. False and false is definitely false. And again, P and Q is what? False and true, right? P is false, Q is true. False and true is actually a false statement. It's got to be an AND's only true when both are true. And now this statement right here is over here in this column 4, which is a false. We have our OR. We're going to do that. P and Q is in this column 5, which we said is a false. And false or false is actually a false. The only time an OR is false is when both are false. So we get all falses following doing it one step at a time. All right, finally to row 4, we start out with both P and Q are false, as you can see here for this. So the negation of false is going to be a true. Negation of Q we just said is true, and P is false. False and a true statement that has truth value false. Remember, an AND is only true when both are true. P and Q are both false. So false and false is definitely a false statement. So now this right here is in column 4, the statement there, which it is, we said is a false. We have our OR. P and Q is right here in column 5, which is also false. So false or false is definitely a false statement. Okay? So there's our 4 answers for row number 4. Let's go ahead and put them in to verify we've got it correct. All right, very good. All right, homework exercise. Let's look at number 14. Refer to the following statement and answer parts A through C. Write the statement below in symbolic form, assign letters to the simple statements that are not negated. So P is that are not negated, right? So P is you did do the laundry, and Q is you left the room a mess. So that would be the two that would be correct for P and Q. Now, you did not do the laundry, which is what? Not P, and is a upside down V or a conjunction, and you left the room a mess, which is Q. So actually, statement choice A is correct, right? Both P and Q are correct, and it's not P and Q to get the symbolization for that, okay? So choice A is the correct answer. Again, B, it's an and statement. Choice D is not correct because P is not, you did not do the laundry. P is supposed to be that are not negated, so it should be you did do the laundry, okay? So choice A is definitely the correct answer for that part. All right, construct a truth table for the symbolic statement. Okay, so now we have, again, P in this row, P and Q are true. So the negation of P is false, and then the negation of P is false, and Q, which is true. False and true is a false statement, right? An and statement is only true when both are true. So we get false for negation of P, and negation of P and Q also ends up being false. Column 2, or row 2, negation of P. We start out, P is true again, so it's really false. And so negation of P is false. And Q, which is also false. A false and a false statement has truth value false. All right. So negation of P is the opposite of true, which is false, and we got a false and a false, which would make it a false statement. All right, row 3, negation of P now, or P is beginning with an F, is actually false. So negation of P is going to be true, right? Negation of false is true, and now negation of P is true, and Q is also in this row defined to be true. Or yeah, defined or just set up to be true. So true and true is actually a true statement, okay? An and statement with both true are true. And finally, row number 4, we start both out with a false, okay? So then the negation of P will be the negation of false, which will actually make it true. And the negation of P is true and Q, but Q is false. True and false is a false statement, right? For an and, the only time it's true is when both are true. So the and statement is false in column 4. All right? And the negation of P is true in column 3, but the and statement ends up being false. All right, use the truth table to indicate a set of conditions to make the compound statement true or state that no such conditions exist. So the only one, so you want to see when it's true, and that's the last column. That's the answer column. So in column 3 is the only one that's true for the answer column. That's what you look at. And in that case, what? P is false and Q is true. So the statement is true only when what? P is false and Q is true, right? Only in row 3 is the statement true. You go to the answer column, and in this, to define it would be what? Exactly, P is false and Q is true. So definitely statement D is correct. The statement is true for all conditions and obviously false because there's a bunch of false. The statement is true when P is true and Q is false. When P is true, Q is false. That's column 2, right? That's false, that's not true. And there are no conditions for which a statement is true. No, there's that one condition, which is right there, choice D. All right, very good. All right, we're going to stop this session here at homework exercise number 14. If you have any, this is your math teacher, instructor, Dr. Swears. I hope you found this video helpful. If you still need more help, send me a email through the inbox in the Canvas course at the FSW portal, and I'll be more than happy to help you answer your questions if you have any further questions. All right, thank you.